You're going to buy stuff online anyway. Support the podcast by going to tombernardpodcast.com. Click on the Amazon banner on top. When you buy from Amazon through that banner, they give a small portion to the Tom Bernard Podcast. Thanks for supporting the show.
Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast with Catherine Brandt, Andrew Brandt Bernard, Alex Brandt Bernard, Tony Lee, and special guest Andy Kindler.
Andy Kindler Bernard.
Bernard. Yeah, we need more Bernards around here.
Andy Kindler Brandt Bernard.
Thank you. Thank you for joining the family.
I am changing my name to fit the podcast.
Good.
I think the only proper thing, if you do that, if you go that far, that Andy Bernard should change his name in your honor through your inspiration to Andy Semitic Bernard.
I like that, and I'm going to change my name to Andy Misty May Trainer.
Tony Lee is not with us today because Tony he and his lovely wife are having a baby. Not like right now, but he's not able to do the podcast today because they're expecting a baby at any moment. So it will be just us. What I was going to do to you originally, Andy, is when Catherine introduced everybody, I was going to go, all right, we're going to go to our expert now on legitimate rape, and here he is. What? Now you got to have a field day with this Representative Todd Aiken guy. He says now he's going to stay in the Missouri Senate race after making comments that women's bodies can prevent pregnancies in cases of, quote, legitimate rape.
Oh, I know, what an idiot.
What does that even mean?
I think that the more they just try to delineate between legitimate, it's probably not, the semantics is not going to help them at this point.
I wouldn't think so.
But I just tweeted that 45%. They just had a poll this morning, and they said, and still 45% of Missourians still support him.
No way.
In a new poll, 45% of the Missourians don't understand thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably true. We're just going down the list. You're involved now with Bob's Burgers. You're involved with the David Letterman show. But you have an announcement about what you're going to be doing. What is it, 2 weeks?
Oh, no, next week.
Oh, it's next week?
Unless we're recording in the past. We're not recording in the past, are we? I hope
no,
we're recording.
Not yet.
Because you're not, but this show does not involve a time machine, I hope.
I hope not.
No, next Monday, I will be at the Republican National Convention for 4 days in a row. I will be reporting via satellite, which I've always wanted. I did that in 2008 too. I'll be in the belly of the beast at the Republican in Tampa in August at the Republican National Convention.
And you are kind of a communist yourself, so that's what you mean by belly of the beast.
I voted for Obama twice last time. I disguised myself.
Can't get enough.
As my neighbor to vote for him. So I am an Obamatarian. So I hope to get on everyone's nerves.
You know, it was really funny. I was talking to Nick DiPaolo last week, and I mentioned you're going to be, oh, by the way, KP was on yesterday. KP Anderson was on yesterday, and he was raving about being on the road with you back in the day. Yeah,
we had fun.
And he loved it.
In the old days, we had fun, even though we used to stay in terrible condos. That was the thing about being a comedian in the 80s, was that the word hotel was something that would make most club owners shiver with their and grab their wallets. Hotel, what do you think this is? The Waldorf? And they put us in terrible apartments that were cleaned up by somebody who might or might not have worked at the club.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. No question. So you'll go in. Now, first of all, when do you do Bob's Burgers? Is that season already recorded? When do you do that?
They're currently I'm a recurring character because, you know, Tom.
Right.
I don't ever want to be a series regular because that would make me too comfortable financially.
I wouldn't want that.
I try to keep myself hungry, literally. So in this particular case, I'm a recurring character, and right now they're recording a new season. I think it's the third season that's being recorded right now.
Right. So you'll be in it every couple of weeks. Is that how this works?
I'd like it to be every couple of weeks. It's more like in fits and spurts. So they may call me out of the blue sometimes. I think I'm on the first year I was on about 3/4 of the episodes. And now I might be on about half of the episodes, but I'm not going to take that as a sign that they're getting disgusted with me.
No, I wouldn't anyway. But
I enjoy it though. I use the exact same voice as my regular voice, so it's very easy.
It's kind of like you and Gilbert Gottfried in the I shouldn't mention the Aflac duck around Gilbert, I suppose.
No, I think he's probably over it by now.
He probably is. It's true.
Yeah, he probably is. Yeah, he seems like he might be slightly neurotic.
Yeah, we go that route. Gilbert, you can be considered to be neurotic, no question about it.
You get that impression a little bit.
No question about it. So now, as far as Letterman is concerned, you got to be loving that.
Well, this whole show has been a dream come true for me to be on the show. So, and every time I'm on it, I kind of still can't believe it. And then to be on it 4 days in a row, I mean, I hope I don't sink the ratings, but for me, it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I heard because of you, Jay Leno had to take a $10 million a year pay cut, but
Well, you know what? With Jay Leno, he took the pay cut, and he also got rid of, I think, 10% of the staff. But he did remind the staff who was leaving that he still hasn't touched his TV money. Because he's telling people what human being would tell another human being, oh, by the way, I never touch my TV money. I only spend my corporate money. So I'm a very, very, I mean, what is the matter with him? I'm hoping you can tell me what's wrong.
He actually did that.
He did that. He's for years he's been telling people about how he has never touched one penny of his Tonight. I won't call it the Tonight Show. I call it the Jay Leno Show money.
Right. Well, I'm here to kind of balance the scales because I've touched every cent of my KQRS money.
I also would like to go further and say I'm also in debt $60,000 or $70,000 on credit cards. I go the extra mile.
You're doing your part.
How much does he make?
Yeah.
Does anybody know? Jay?
What's that?
How much does Jay make? Does anyone know?
Well, it's about I think he was making between 25 and 30 million a year.
Jesus.
So now he's down to 25 million a year. I'm very concerned about him. I hope that he's able to buy enough crazy cars still. Cars made out of tin cans, cars made out of other cars. I hope that he doesn't have to give up one of his huge warehouses of junk.
Yeah, and how many, he's got a huge car collection too, right?
Yeah, Studebakers, and I don't even understand it. It's like, how many cars can he drive?
I don't know.
And he loves to drive around town in them too, because he loves to draw attention to himself and then
show everyone how cool he is.
I don't know I think you could probably write many books, and there could be psychological studies will be in the future about what exactly went wrong with Jay Leno's mind, because everyone loved him. If you watch him when he used to go on the David Letterman show in the 80s, I mean, the guy was hilarious.
Yeah,
what happened?
We saw him in L.A. years and years ago on stage, didn't? Yeah.
We did. Don't you remember what he called you?
Yeah, he called me a frozen bitch.
Here's what happened.
I usually call you that too.
So what happened was we were at the comedy.
There's a reason.
We were at the Comedy Store, and there was a comedian up on stage, and he was doing the whole, women are all bitches and women are worthless and blah blah. Women suck.
Horrible.
Charmer.
What was his name? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember the guy's name.
I don't think he made it big in the world. You know?
Doesn't sound like he would.
He was a mean guy.
Finally, Andy, as you know, I'm very even keeled. Somebody, so finally my wife had enough, and she goes, "Why don't you shut up?" Right? She heckles the guy.
Good
Just
for
a little
you,
heckle.
Mom.
It wasn't
Go,
even
Mom.
a big heckle. He should have been able to handle it.
So he starts going after my wife. So I stand up and go, "How'd you like if I come up there and beat the piss out of you?" About 1 second later, I'm surrounded by bodyguards.
Oh, jeez.
And they have us sit back down and be quiet and blah, blah, blah. So we're like, okay, sorry. I just got, it's my wife. I'm trying to defend her.
She's just a little drunk. Leave her alone.
So Leno walks out on stage and he looks, he goes, "What's your name, lady?" That sounded like Louis Anderson.
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
than Jay
that
Leno.
was an interesting.
Sorry about that. But he comes up and goes, "What's your name, ma'am? I'm sorry this all happened. I just want to apologize. What's your name?" She goes, "Catherine." "Where are you from, Catherine?" "Minnesota." "Oh, a frozen bitch."
Oh,
Yeah, that was his apology.
so
I've never liked him.
You should have known that.
Did you get up again, Tom?
No, I did not.
No.
I decided, I had seen the size of the bouncers. So I decided probably just stay in my seat, and it all worked out for
Yeah,
the best.
they were scary and they were in suits. They're serious when they're in suits.
They have headpieces, the little microphone thing.
Sunglasses,
Yeah.
Yeah,
All bald.
Yeah, anybody with a walkie-talkie,
Yeah.
concerned about.
You don't want to mess with anyone with
soon.
Now, Andy Kindler, Barnard, let me ask you a question. Have you noticed on the podcast so far how much my son Andy dominates the conversation? Do you think it's too much?
Yeah, I think you have to back off slightly. No, we want him more in there, in the mix. Get him in the mix.
He doesn't like the mix.
I don't like the mix.
Oh, then, but that was good. See, right there. Already you've added more than Kevin Eubanks did. 20 years on the Leno show.
Good job, Andy.
Andy, you did that again. You went the Leno show.
I will not say the name of the show that Johnny Carson hosted. That was supposed to be David Letterman's show. I don't hold a grudge. I promise I will not hold any of my grudges past death.
That's a good policy. That's a very, very good policy.
I will have certain things written on my gravestone for people who come by my grave.
Well, I can understand that. Like, what the hell are you looking at? Things like that.
Yeah. What the hell are you looking at? If this is Jay Leno, move it along.
Go buy another car, Jay.
Robin Williams, don't do any bits around my grave.
Oh, jeez.
Because there's somebody else's anyway.
Oh. Whoa.
Alienating everyone.
Does Jay Leno
I'm sorry, MasterCard, that I couldn't say.
Does Jay still have that policy where he has to be the funny one and no one else can be funny?
I think that really is true. I mean, that thing, I think, Johnny Carson and David Letterman have this thing where they don't, I think it's a matter of being comfortable with that you are a funny person so that you're not afraid to have people around you be funny. But I think Jay has to be the top dog all the time. That's why he makes sure that all the bits on the show are bad, because he doesn't want to compete with his 75-minute monologue.
You can tell you really like
I
him.
don't know if I told you this before, but the reason why Jay Leno still wins in the ratings is because the people who watch the show are people who have to go to sleep at 11:42 every night. So they don't want anything too funny on in the background that will get them, keep them up.
White noise.
They want exactly white.
In this case,
actually, I thought if I was rich, if I was a member of the 1%, instead of like one of those sharper image sound machines, I would pay Michael Winslow to stand by my bed and do sound effects.
Do his police siren, I could see that working.
Nobody knows that reference anymore, Tom. Michael Winslow.
I'll take care of you on that one. That's not a problem. Police Academy, they'll know that.
Everyone, even my generation, knows that one.
Typically.
Even us young folks.
Yes.
Youngsters.
If I had a horn or a whistle, I would set it off. Andy Kindler finally got Andy Barnard to talk on the Tom Barnard podcast.
Twice.
That's
That is very
whistle.
good.
You're good. Maybe you can come over and give him some counseling.
Andy to Andy. Man to man.
Andy to Andy.
I'm available for Skype counseling.
Okay. Like web therapy. Have you ever seen that show?
I have with Lisa Kudrow
Yeah,
on,
she's great.
on the Showtime network. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a good gig because I like the idea that TV show is made. You don't have to leave your computer. That sounds like a good gig for me. So I am available should they want me.
For 3-minute therapy.
Yeah.
I like it too.
3 minutes of therapy over.
Well,
Barnard has a shorter show, right?
Yeah, it's like, 22 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a webisode that turned into I'm sorry, what's it on again?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's on
Showtime.
Web therapy.
Is
It's
it
on Showtime.
It's Showtime, yeah.
It's
I
definitely on.
have some shows that play on. I have a spoon-isode. It plays on the spoons in my house. I have a wristwatch-isode.
Words with
No
Friends
charge for
episode.
these jokes. No charge because they're not very good, but no charge.
Just for fun.
I don't want you to tip your hand too much, but I gotta. It's 4 days of Andy Kindler at the RNC. I mean, like I said, don't tip your hand, but I know you got things planned.
Well, I'm going to be asking for does anybody have any coupons for the? Are you guys giving away coupons for the end of Medicare vouchers? And I also, you know that you can. I think you can conceal, you can conceal a weapon and carry it or something in Tampa. So I'm going to ask everybody if they're packing.
Yeah,
They are.
They already are.
Everyone will just wave their weapons around.
Florida's an odd state that way.
It is.
What's really
And
interesting.
a lot of Paul, a lot of things about Paul. What do you find most dreamy about Paul Ryan?
Most dreamy.
He
I
works
was there
out.
4 years ago when the day they picked Sarah Palin. I was there asking people about her. It was unbelievable to be like a foot away from someone who was pretending that they knew someone that they had never heard of before. They had no idea who she was.
Really?
And they were like, "Oh, I think she's a wonderful pick." Oh,
Well, you know,
who had heard of her before?
in her defense, not that I'm a Sarah Palin fan, but it was so exciting to get, I thought it would be just wonderful to finally have a female, you know, up that high in politics. I mean, she turned out into be a...
We need Ava Braun. Is that what we need?
So I wanted to get behind her. I really wanted to like her, and I think that might have been
Right.
some of it, you know, because I really was excited about it, but she turned into a crazy person.
Yeah, she turned into pretty quickly. Now, you know, I wouldn't have even predicted that she would have been as right wing as she's ended up being. She's like really an outlier now in the party.
She made a lot of money writing books about it. I know that.
Yeah.
So,
Who is?
Sarah Palin's made like $50 million on their last 2 books. Did you know that?
No, I did not, but I know she's clearly all about the money because she wouldn't even.
Yeah.
How does she justify not even completing her governorship term?
Got bored with it.
Yeah, like what's there to do up there anyway?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that sounds like a cake job.
Yeah, no question. What we're trying to do on the Tom Barnard podcast, by the way, and I can say this podcast because obviously if people download it, they know what the hell they are. Sorry.
Hopefully.
Anyway, what I'm trying to do is find what's going on, like politically. So we're going to have people from, not both parties on necessarily, but people at different points of view. And the one thing I do want to ask everybody, and you made your political views very, very clear. And it almost ruined your friendship with Nick DiPaolo. No, just kidding. No. I was telling you, last time I talked to Nick DiPaolo, he said, "So, Tommy, who you got on the show this week?" I said, "Andy Kindler's on." "Oh, God, I love Andy. Andy is so funny. You goddamn communist."
You do a good Nick DiPaolo.
That's not, I could work on it. But he thinks the world of you. He thinks you're hilarious.
Oh, I love that. We were in the Young Comedian Special in 1992. It was me, Nick DiPaolo, Janine Garofalo, Judd Apatow was on it.
Jeez.
Ray Romano was on it.
Quite the
and
group.
Bill Bellamy was on it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sounds like an amazing
Good
group.
lineup. And whatever happened to me?
You're on the Letterman show. That's pretty good, I think.
You're
I
a
think
big
I
deal.
gotta stop doing my self-deprecating jokes.
Well, that's a good thing. So now, with all this stuff going on, you spend a lot of time on the road as well, do you not?
Depending on the month, about two weekends out of the month, I'm on the road.
That's 2 weekends a month. Well, still, that's a lot though, because you're doing
that's a lot.
2 TV shows. You're doing, now, the RNC, you're going to be, is that Comedy Central you're doing that for?
Which one is it?
The RNC, the Republican National Convention?
Oh, that's going to be on, did you say is it going to be on Comedy Central?
No, I just wanted to know where it was going to be on.
Oh, it's on Letterman. Did I make
Oh, you're doing it for Letterman too. Okay. So he's going to, David Letterman will like that a lot. You down there nailing. Yeah, he'll have a ball with that, I would imagine.
Well, it is I was so nervous. I had to be honest as opposed to being deceptive. That I was very nervous. I never did a satellite thing before. Doing stand-up on TV is very nerve-wracking. I actually get nervous going to the store because I'm afraid, if someone asks me something I don't know. But that was nerve-wracking to do a satellite feed because. But then I was okay. I'm always afraid I'm going to do the Jackie Gleason when he's demonstrating the kitchen magician.
Yeah. Oh yes.
It goes homina, homina, homina.
Homina, homina. Ed Norton.
And a Corey apple.
Yeah, Corey Apple.
I remember. I used to love this. To me, it was so hilarious that back in TV then, the supporting characters were not usually the best actors.
Right.
They go, now remember, Ralph, you're going to be in front of 1 million people. And then he gets nervous.
It's
a lot of
wonderful.
people, you know what they want? They want me recounting old TV on your show.
No, I think they do. I think a lot of people do want to hear that. And I want to hear how, every time I talk to Andy Kindler, I bring this up because what do we decide that was like 20 years ago you were doing a special where you talked about the Nazis rounding up the Jews and how it was your mother or your aunt. You, had just gone out to California. I think that was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was it was actually the first routine that my wife. When I met my wife, I met her at a time period when I was bombing a lot, just bombing in clubs. It was the early '90s, and she actually was frightened for my career. And the first bit that she really resonated with was my mom coming out to California, where she's sitting in a restaurant. And this is actually true, but what I've done is I took my mom's actual words and made her more Jewish and from Queens. She is Jewish, but she doesn't have this accent. But she was actually sitting in a restaurant in Sausalito, and she said, "Auntie, you live in California. How are the fajitas?" And Tom, just recently I was at my mom and dad's house, and this was like, Joe Paterno. It was after Joe Paterno died, and there was all the stuff going on. So I walked down the stairs in the morning, and my mom said, she's reading the paper, she goes, "Things are looking worse for Paterno." Really, Mom? How much worse could it be? Dead.
Yeah, he's
looking worse.
Things are looking worse. Well, and many people do not know, but I believe it was your mother that actually invented hip-hop speech.
Yes, because my mother used it all the time. It was good. My mom used expressions way before they were popular. She was the one who started them. She would say, "Auntie, somebody left the phone off the hook." "Auntie, get back inside because your friends are in the house." "Auntie, I told you your uncle's back problems are chronic." See if your nephew is still in the crib.
I love her already.
You
She
just
sounds
got
like
a
a
better.
fun lady.
That joke got a better reaction on this phone call than it's ever gotten in a club.
Oh, it's hilarious. And for everyone listening, we already have an international audience. It's kind of weird with podcasting because people listen to you around the world. It's very odd.
Oh, we got people in Korea. What's going on?
Korea.
Korea, shout out.
What up, Korea?
How do you say this guy sounds like a prick in Korean?
No idea.
Hey, for my Korean friends, kamsamida.
Oh!
Check him.
I know about 4 Korean words.
So what does that mean?
Thank you.
Kamsamida?
Yes.
Oh, I do.
Sababnim, teacher, sababnim, kamsamida.
How did you know? How did you learn that?
Taekwondo. I've been taking Taekwondo because I'm a short man, as my friend has nicknamed me. I am Senko de Mayo is my nickname because I'm 5'5".
You're my height.
I've been very scared my whole life, so I took Taekwondo to overcome my feeling of fear and dread as I walk down the street.
That's a true story.
It's a true story. I've been taking it for 17 years. I've been taking Taekwondo.
I will tell you this.
Wild.
The last time I saw you walking down, you were running down the street because you're trying to make a dinner appointment. But
It was late.
you were not late. You were actually right on time. You're just a very considerate person. I was standing there with my son, Andy Barnard, not Andy Kindler Barnard. We were standing there and I said, as I leaned over, because I didn't recognize you right away. And I said, "Andy, don't lip off to that Jew. He looks plenty tough."
It's true, he did. We were both a little scared.
The word intimidating has never been used in reference to me.
I don't know. Well,
neither.
intellectually.
Now the whole
Yes.
Taekwondo thing, that's, tell me the difference between that and karate.
It's a Korean martial art, and it literally means the art of punching and kicking. It emphasizes a lot of kicking over the Japanese martial arts are more like different style, quicker, different style, like more shallow kicks, and Taekwondo really emphasizes flexibility, which for someone like me, who is rigid emotionally.
I've never found that to be the case, but that's just me, I suppose.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks.
my posture's gotten a lot better. I mean, I used to be like looking at the ground constantly. I don't know, it was just my head down, and so it's really changed my life in many ways. But I haven't had to ever use it. I hope I never do, because I don't want to be crying as I'm applying the technique.
Now you
stopping uncontrollably.
And thinking about that, I assume the person in Korea, or the people that are listening in Korea that show up on the analyticals, I'm assuming that Kim Jong-un is one of them. So if you want to put in a good word for all of us in Korea, I wouldn't mind that.
Please do.
Well, there's a whole bunch of Taekwondo things that happened and splits that happened because between South Korea and North Korea in terms of it's a very complex history with the Taekwondo and everything, which I keep forgetting. My teacher tells me, and then it goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, well, you don't really have to worry about that when you're kicking somebody.
A question I do have for you, because my wife does this to me, and since 17 years, you said you've been taking Taekwondo. 17, right?
She punches and kicks him.
No, that's not it.
Rumors.
So you're riding along in the car. Does your wife drive or do you drive?
My wife drives when she can. She would prefer to drive because she doesn't enjoy my driving because of the constant looking around and obsessive compulsive behavior I have in the vehicle.
Sounds like my dad.
We could have a conversation.
So here's what happens, because I always am in the passenger seat as well. My wife is driving because, again, the way you put it was perfect. My wife hates my driving.
It's true. I'm sorry. I love you.
But here's what happens. If somebody cuts her off, if somebody makes a lane change improperly, if somebody does anything wrong, she will lay on the horn, give him the finger, and then point at me.
No, do not.
That's a fact.
Lies and slander.
My wife does have a similar. Ken is prone to having a similar temper in the car, and I always say, do not get me involved.
See,
I
do not want to be involved in whatever altercation that you're going to cause.
Yeah, Tom's always saying that. You're going to get me killed. That's what's going to happen. Is they're going to come out and kick my ass.
My wife, the other thing that drives my wife nuts is when, someone will let her in, and so instead of her, waving to thank the person, I always have to wave as well. It drives her nuts. Can I wave on my own to thank the person? You also have to give them a salute of some kind.
I do want to get your take on the passing of Phyllis Diller. She's a legend.
I actually met. It's so weird, funny. I was thinking today. I realized I did actually meet her. I can't remember the actual context. It was some kind of game show thing. And I remember that she was so sweet. She really was an extremely sweet person. And there was actually kind of a great documentary that came out a few years ago about her that I saw in a theater in L.A. And it was really excellent. And she just could not. I mean, I don't know anybody in the business who had anything negative to say about her. She was such a classic comedian. And just so professional and so great. So, it's like, it is kind of sad, although I guess her son said she died in her sleep with a smile on her face. So talk about living a full life.
Yeah, it's a good
the
way to
go.
Do you know why she had a smile on her face? Because she never touched her Tonight Show money. So that's it. That's 30.
That is a good callback, my friend.
Hey, whatever word. You've always been far too kind. There's no question about that.
One of Phyllis's lines that I remember is, when I was born, instead of slapping me, the doctor slapped everybody else.
I think it slapped my father.
That's the thing, too. Can you imagine that how the odds were stacked against somebody like her, and how amazing she did, how brave she was, I'm sure, when she started. And
I can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah, it can't have been
She must
easy.
have been treated like crap.
I'm sure.
Well,
and I think as time goes along, people will more. I mean, not that she already hasn't established a legacy, but I think people. It's the type of thing they'll even remember more with, because she did a lot of stuff. I mean, she must have been on Ed Sullivan and stuff like that, wasn't?
Oh yeah,
she was,
right?
for sure. She was on the Tonight Show a lot too.
There's plenty of footage. I should remind you that you only have a couple more minutes, and the reason I know that is I heard the steel drum band outside your door there just now. alerting you that you're about 2 minutes, to where, so you're headed off to, take a nap? What are you doing?
Well, actually, this is also a somewhat come up. I'm actually going into my Taekwondo class at noon.
At noon?
Yeah.
My God.
I study privately Taekwondo because that's the only way I could study it. Was I could never really be part of a huge class, so I've been with my teacher. We've had a few people at times. Sometimes it's just been me, but it's been that way so that he kind of like goes with my schedule. It's like having it's a very Hollywood thing, right? I have my own Taekwondo teacher.
You're so fancy.
Very fancy, and of course I bring my.
It's so Leno.
You bring who with you?
A makeup person and a wardrobe.
Well, you know.
And Harvey Levin. Harvey Levin's going to come with me. TMZ.
Harvey Levin. Oh, I like he throws out the 30 mile zone reference.
Yeah, exactly.
What does that even mean? The 30 mile zone around, is that around?
It means 30 mile zone around LA. Is what it means. I don't know. I'm not a Harvey Levin fan or a Harvey Levin aficionado. I don't try to get. I don't even like him on the People's Court. I don't even like the People's Court. Is that Judge Judy the People's Court, or is that?
No.
No, I think she's Judge Judy, right?
The People's Court is a woman who sounds. Oh. The woman sounds. Oh no, that's divorce court. I'm thinking of divorce court where there's a black woman on there who sounds just like Bill Cosby. Have you ever seen her?
No, I won't, but now you certainly piqued my interest.
Yeah, now I gotta watch that.
I'm telling you, honest to God, she opened the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is divorce court. The judges made by the decision, or the decisions made by the judge will stand as final. And she comes out and she goes, okay, what are you two arguing about? All the kids and the dudes told me that you didn't have any pudding pops. That's exactly how she sounds.
That is fantastic. Well, the thing is, Judge Judy drives me nuts because she's so mean. And so I did this joke where I said that if this was true, she was in the hospital because she was having intestinal problems. It turns out she hates her own guts.
Oh, poor Judge Judy.
So she'll be spending a lot of time with the family in the near future, I'm sure.
Me or Judge Judy?
You, Judge Judy, with your family.
Well, no, I'm going. No, I will not be spending time with it. But my niece is getting married, so I will be in New York soon for my niece. And people swear I have no family. I do have family.
Congratulations!
You were just in Canada at a wedding, weren't you?
Yes, I was in Canada at a wedding.
See,
how do you know all these things?
Well,
that's why you called me.
He's been stalking you.
I called you while you were in Canada.
I am an international celebrity of some kind.
Well, unfortunately, you have to go, and I don't like that.
You have to go punch and kick somebody.
You don't hurt anybody,
do you? This was so much fun. I hope that I launched the podcast into the stratosphere with our numbers somehow.
Well, I'm sure that'll be the case.
We'll make sure and tweet.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's very important that you tweet that you've been on because it like triples the number of people. It tells your fans that you're on because otherwise they have no way of finding out actually.
Okay, so I will do that right as I get off the phone, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. It's just
Facebook, tweet, mention, hashtag,
LinkedIn.
Oh, listen to this. Apparently you got a new full-time job, Andy.
What is the address I'm going to?
It is Tom Barnard Podcast. Barnard.
Oh, beautiful.
Tom Barnard Podcast.
Beautiful.
Podcast.com. And then all your fans out there, because I know you got like 55,000 Twitter followers?
I'm right at that level right now, and I measure my self-esteem by how many followers I have.
I have 65 followers, so you're really much cooler than me.
We're building. Between me and you, we have almost 56,000 followers.
Andy, the next time you're in Minneapolis, St. Paul, please come by. I'd love to do one in person. It'd be great.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
I would love it too. That'd be great.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
You're a beautiful man, Andy Kindler.
Thank you. You were a delight and a treasure.
Family. It was a family podcast, and I love it.
I love it too. Thanks, sir.
Okay.
Okay, you have a great day, guys.
Thank you so much. You too.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
The Tom Barnard Podcast is proud to donate a portion of our proceeds to the Smile Network. Find their banner on the upper right side of the homepage at tombernardpodcast.com. Learn more about the Smile Network and how they brought smiles to thousands of people around the world. What we like to do on the Tom Barnard Podcast is also go to some Twitter stuff. Actually, this is a good time.
Too fancy.
To let everybody.
He's cool.
And people who don't live in the area have no idea who the hell I even am.
Minneapolis being the area.
Well, whatever. But in any case, I've been doing the same morning show at KQRS Radio in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota for 27 years. And I've always wanted to work with my family, Catherine, my wife, Andy and Alex, my son and daughter. And so finally, the people I work with were nice enough to say, you know what, why don't you go ahead and do that? To me, it's one of those situations we sit around. I told KP Anderson yesterday, we watch The Soup together on Sunday nights whenever we DVR it, obviously. And then watch it on Sunday nights. And I just said, you know, all the stuff that's said in this room when we're together, whether it's at the dinner table or it's watching The Soup or whatever we're doing, watching a sporting event, because Andy doesn't show up for those though.
No.
Neither do I really. I play Words with Friends while that happens.
That's a father-daughter event.
Yes.
Well, you like
Sporting
baseball.
events.
I like it when you go see it live. I don't like watching it on TV.
So this segment, why don't we use this segment to kind of introduce you guys to everybody? So my name is Tom Barnard. As I said, I've been in radio for my whole life, and just wanted to do a family project together, a family podcast together. Get together with as many friends as we possibly can. We're going to do some serious things as well. We have, some serious interviews coming up, but I just have a lot of friends in the business, like Andy Kindler and KP and Nick DiPaolo, and you get on the list of people. It's just a nice time to sit down. It's kind of like we're trying to create the atmosphere of being around the dinner table and kind of just talking with friends. So, Catherine, you have like a 3-minute speech.
I do. I've got one prepared. Let me go consult my
I wrote it
speechwriter.
for her, so blame me if it's bad.
Excuse me. Am I supposed to talk now? Really?
Talk about yourself.
Oh, look can I say
Talk
one thing?
amongst yourselves.
Oh, no, you're not allowed to talk.
Oh, there we go.
Let me just say one thing. Andy Kindler on Twitter. I was just on at Radio Tom Barnard's podcast, should be posted soon. Whatever posted means, fun, and also fun. TomBarnardPodcast.com.
Yay,
What a nice
Kindler.
We love him.
But it's true. If the people tweet about it, their fans know to listen.
Right.
So they can hear it's obviously that they can hear Andy.
I still just don't understand this whole Twitter. I mean, how did this all happen so fast?
Twitter's one of those things that I don't understand. I mean, I'm 23 years old and I'm supposed to be like, went to college for journalism and I know all this stuff about social media, and Twitter, I don't get it. And I think it might just be one of those things that I just don't connect with it. So I just don't understand why anyone would do it. But I mean, it's a huge thing and it's
huge.
So important to so many people and businesses and all this stuff. But it's just, I have a hard time figuring out what Twitter's all about as well.
Well, you go on these, on people's pages and they'll have 6 followers, but they're following 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Those are stalker people, and don't let them follow you.
No, but I think
thing.
that might be actually pretty common for people to want to connect with people who they would never be able to talk to.
That's
on
the
Twitter.
thing. Yeah, it's like I can follow, I went to school for fashion, so I can follow Marc Jacobs and see pictures that he posts and where he's traveling to and what Marc Jacobs is up to. And it's kind of like, to that regard, I get it, because you get an inside look at celebrities' lives, kind of, and you feel connected to them in that way. So I get that.
So you really think it's kind of a celebrity culture?
I think that's probably
medium.
what it started as. Now it's kind of this whole other entity that I don't even get. That's the thing. Like, where it is now, I'm just kind of like, what? I don't know. I think I'm just too chatty to be on Twitter.
You think
because
so?
it stops me from talking, and I'm like, no!
No, it is.
I've
it is
got
short.
things
how
to
many,
say.
How many characters do you get? And
140.
140. And I need like
spaces,
2,000
right?
to just
Well, that's what Facebook's
talk
for,
about
I
my
guess.
breakfast.
What about, Andy, you're into Twitter, I know.
No.
Tweeting up a storm.
I think I've made like 5 posts or tweets or whatever.
Oh, you have a Twitter account. See, I made him
I'm
get
not
even
one.
following you because I didn't even know you'd have one.
No, you're following him.
Yeah, you are.
I went
am?
on your thing and I made him join Twitter, and I went on your thing and you followed him and he followed you because of me.
I didn't even know.
This family would fall apart without me.
There was no
You are
question. I should
the
mention
glue
again,
that holds us together.
at this point that Tony Lee is not here today. Again, he and his wife are expecting a baby any day now.
Little baby.
So he's going to be coming and going for a little while there. And actually it was suggested, I think by Tony and Sean and Catherine, that we maybe ask Joe Anderson to fill in for him whenever he can't make it in.
Yeah, he was great yesterday.
He was
Joe was
He's
great.
very nice.
Yeah, he's very natural and didn't feel forced or anything. He sounds great.
Except he was waving that purple cast around violently.
Yes, he was. It's true. A couple of tweets here. Jack Black was on the KQ Morning Show this morning. Turned out to be a really nice guy.
I've heard that he's very nice.
I know, until Bernie.
Oh, because
you liked
yes,
Bernie.
That's true. He was
I liked
really
School of
good
Rock a lot. I really liked that movie. You're playing music on your
that?
phone. Mom,
I was like,
what do you got?
you should.
we have a minstrel.
What are those things called? The minstrels used to play
Lute.
A lute.
Yeah.
There
Your
you go.
phone
She had
has
a
made
lute.
about 15 different noises. You should just not have it here.
He's got Andy
You're not
Kindler on,
allowed to-
and all of a sudden the table starts vibrating. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
La, 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 little Adele playing in the
Set the
background.
mood.
In any case, so Jack Black was on this morning about the movie Bernie. It's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD today.
Oh.
And he was a very nice guy. He's kind of shy in a way, actually.
Really?
Yeah, when you talk to
seems
me.
like such a wild, crazy
Frat
goofball.
guy.
jerk. Yeah, yeah.
But the first movie I ever liked him in was Bernie, the movie he was there talking about. I think it's because Hollywood points these guys, and whether it be, we talked about John Belushi back in the day, and then Chris Farley, and then Jack Black, and then Zach Galifianakis. I think these guys in their own right are good actors. They just get all pointed and boxed in.
Pigeonholed.
Pigeonholed.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's
sure.
the word.
This is how you want it. You want to do it. So, because I'll tell you, I'm here to tell you, Jack Black in Bernie is phenomenal.
I really wanted to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it. I saw a trailer for it like a year ago, and then
It's an
never saw
indie
it.
film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
It looked really interesting.
I
get
thought
the
he was
DVD.
really good. He
was phenomenal.
I mean, I was completely shocked.
Did all his own singing.
Really?
And it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful
Seriously,
singing.
He was really good.
Well, you know he has a band, right?
No?
Yeah, Tenacious D.
Yeah.
I did not know
So-
that.
Yeah, Tenacious D. Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like
I
a-
always forget that.
Yeah.
I've really paid little or no attention to him because I've never really liked his movies in the past.
But that's not really his fault, we find out, because he's a damn good actor.
Yeah.
He really is. Paul Hurley at Radio Tom Bernard on Twitter. You not liking certain actors? A revelation.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
true.
liking things at all is
Yeah.
a revelation.
Whenever we want it, we can
Thank
never
you.
find a movie to go to because he'll be like, "Who's in it?" And we'll say 5 people that are in the movie.
Julia
I
Roberts.
hate that.
I hate Julia Roberts.
Yeah, you do.
So and so. I don't wanna go. I'm like,
That's
what
an impression
is your?
of me.
That's why you're on radio, because you have such a lovely.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Fenton at Radio Tom Bernard on Twitter. You didn't like Jack Black in High Fidelity? He was fabulous. I never saw High Fidelity, so maybe I'll go back and watch that now, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, we kind of stopped watching him after what movie? It was like the same thing over and over.
Because they kept making him do the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
At MN Comedy, just listen to at Radio Tom Bernard podcast with IKPN, at IKP Anderson, and at Funzy. It's outstanding. They were. It's up right now on the website, episode 4.
And on iTunes.
KP Anderson is the executive producer and the head writer on The Soup, one of the best shows on television with Joel McHale. And his brother Joe Anderson works for ESPN.
I also found out he's a real estate agent.
Joe Anderson is?
Yeah, I'm sitting there telling,
Twitter.
KP, I'm like, I'm a realtor, I can help you out. And he's like, oh, really?
I
And
think you got problems.
I found out that Joe's a realtor. Sorry,
Mother.
Joe. I'm trying to tread on your territory.
Paul Hurley returns with Phyllis Diller's dad was 52 when she was born. He looked up, the guy was born, Phyllis Diller's father was born in 1865.
What?
Well, she was 90 when she
90
died.
95.
So, yeah.
So add 95 and
Think about
52
it.
together. I mean,
There weren't even cars.
he was born when Lincoln was still alive.
My word.
That's a lot of history.
Yeah. For a short generation. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
That's very clear. That's what you want to do, is be very clear on a podcast. It's really good. It's
You're
really
going to get a lot of that from us if we're here long.
That's true.
Where am I?
Well, you know, the last Civil War widow just recently died.
Yes.
Yeah.
How old was she?
She was old. I don't really know exactly
A
how
billion?
old, but, she was a Civil War widow because I think she married, like a 60, 70-year-old guy when she was in her teens.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's how, because the Civil War was.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
I
long
remember
ago.
reading about her.
Yeah.
That's very odd.
Most definitely. Johnny Love at Strib Love. At Funzy, just listened to you at Radio Tom Bernard on my jog. Enjoyed the brotherly love story of getting peed on. I hope it wasn't recent.
Andy, thank you for never peeing on me in your sleep. I'm
Even
just going to say that now.
sleepwalking, you never did that.
Never. Thank you.
I never sleep. Did I sleepwalk?
No.
No, that's what the
He
story was.
Yeah, but you said even sleepwalking like it's something I do.
It isn't.
At MN Comedy again, Louis Anderson. Hey, at Radio Tom Bernard, I'm on podcast number 2. Listening to it was a blast. They're so nice, these people.
I know, very nice.
Louis Anderson. Hey, at Radio Tom Bernard, I'm on podcast number 2, TomBernardPodcast.com. Listen to it. It was a blast. The whole family is on it. Even the dog, rough. That's what Louis Anderson has.
That's what
say.
Bella says.
Her name is Bella.
Her name is Bella.
She is
Very
Bella.
cute little dog. There's no question.
Little rescue dog.
I love how one of the local Channel 4 came to shoot the podcast last night.
Channel 4 in Minneapolis.
Channel 4 in Minneapolis.
Not in Korea.
No, it's very, very true.
That's what everyone assumed, so it's good that you cleared that up.
But anyway, they came to shoot the podcast last night, and there were about 10 people in the house that Bella, the little dog, didn't know. And she was, skittish, but she didn't cause any problems or anything like that until Dave, the photographer who forgot his keys downstairs.
Yeah.
He knocks on the door and she attacks him.
Oh, yeah.
No,
She didn't attack him,
She did
everyone. She didn't bite him or anything.
terrible.
She just barked at him.
Viciously.
She's had a rough life. We had our first anniversary on Sunday.
You've had her a year.
I've had her
Little
for a full
rescue
year.
month.
Is that right?
Yep.
That was a year already.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get her a cake or flowers or anything. What kind of people
Yeah, she'll
are
get
we?
over it eventually. Anyway,
I don't
so
think she will.
I have to ask you guys, are you having fun doing this? Because at first when I came to them and said, why don't we do a podcast together? They went, are you out of your goddamn mind?
You
Or
didn't
what's
say
the problem?
why. You said you're doing a podcast.
I did not say you're doing a podcast.
I was never asked. They've locked me in the home.
I will point out we're about to do episode number, well, we did episode number 5, right? This is episode number 5.
I think
Right
so.
now.
See, you didn't get fired.
We're in it.
I said 2 weeks.
No,
So
you said a
number
week.
10.
You did say a week,
Well,
absolutely.
I'm working on it.
Our next guest to be on the Tom Bernard podcast will be longtime coworker. I worked at KQRS with Mike Gelfand since it started. He was about 6 months into the beginning of it. So 26 years we worked together. He just recently moved on. He's a writer now. He's in the middle of writing a book, which we'll talk to him about. But our very next guest on the Tom Bernard podcast will be Mr. Mike Gelfand, writer, voiceover, radio guy, had his own TV show for a long time, very talented guy.
You forgot curmudgeon.
Well, he is a curmudgeon. That's very, very true.
Curmudgeon.
Thanks for being with us. You're going to buy stuff online anyway. Support the podcast by going to TomBernardPodcast.com. Click on the Amazon banner on top. When you buy from Amazon through that banner, they give a small portion to the Tom Bernard podcast. Thanks for supporting the show.